Well, good morning and hello, everyone. I have a very special guest here with me today. This is Michelle from Be Active, Live Better. She is an amazing fitness and motivational coach here in St. Catharines. I think you'll find her full of amazing and authentic inspiration and positive vibes, and also some really great outfits on the fitness level. And even right now, Michelle. So she is on a quest to help you with fitness and mindset goals. So welcome, Michelle. I'm very happy to have you here today.
Thank
Thanks for
you. Thanks for
being
having
here.
me.
It's my pleasure. This is the first time I'm doing this live into this group, so it's a bit of an experiment, and I'm so happy that you're my first.
Yay.
Hey. So what I'd like to do is ask you a few questions just so that the audience can get to know you, what you're about, and what you offer, because I truly do believe it is amazing.
Thank you.
So why don't we start with, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So I was born and raised in St. Catharines. I'm a mom of three, a 10, 8, and a 2-year-old, a little bit of a surprise, but they're all blessings. Um, I, I'm just, that girl that wants to live better and inspire others. So when, you think of a fitness instructor, a trainer, sometimes you feel like they're unreachable. But my goal is just to be relatable, right? I'm just that mom that's just trying to do better every single day and living the same struggles as everybody else.
That's fantastic. And from following you, I see the authenticity of you share your life, like really what's happening, and how to stay in the groove of everything that you're actually trying to promote. So it's yeah, it's a pleasure to see the the authentic you, making it all happen, juggling all these things together. So how did you get into this the business of coaching?
Okay, so it started quite a long ago. I was always an active kid. I did struggle with weight as a kid. I never, my mom was always on Weight Watchers, and bless her heart, it wasn't anything that was perceived to me, but it was what I was growing up into, right? So I always learned from an early age, what food really meant. And back then, it was all about counting calories, reducing fat consumption. So I think, it did play a major role in how I perceived myself. Growing up, I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was always the bigger child in a class. Okay. So, it did play a little bit on my ego. And it made me just realize that in order for me to feel good, I always felt good exercising. I always felt good playing sports. I got my first YMCA membership. I think I was 14. My older sister is quite a bit older, so I went with her, and she was always doing the step class. So, I was that young girl that was always in the step class, trying to follow all the moves. Like, I looked up to those instructors. So at 16 years old, they're offering their first YMCA certification, and I took it. I mean, I wasn't intending to be an fitness instructor, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it because I want to be just like them. So I think what happened is that I felt amazing every time I would, be involved in a group fitness class. I felt like I was one of them, and I felt like I never was judged. And every single time I would step onto that floor, all my problems would kind of disappear. So it became not so much an addiction, but a want. I wanted to have that experience all the time. So that gravitated, into high school years. I was always in the fitness classes. And then in university, I took another certification, and I became a fitness trainer and coach. So I took my fitness instructing to gyms. And then after university, I decided that I didn't want to be a teacher. I went to university and to become a teacher. And I realized as I did my first placement in a high school that I wasn't teaching the right crowd. You know what I mean? So I said, you know what? I'm going to wing it. I'm going to become a trainer, and I'm going to do it on my own. So it wasn't always the easiest path, but it was the most fulfilling path. So that's kind of how, in a nutshell, it just became this passion for me and not so much a job.
Isn't that amazing? Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can tell by watching you and what you're doing that this is truly a joy, and it's just part of who you are. It's an extension. And honestly, you really are teaching. You are teaching.
Exactly. It's in a different element.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, do you I know when we first met, one of the reasons that I sought you out was I wanted to come to your class. I've driven by your studio a million times, and when I once I was ready to pull the trigger, the pandemic happened. So tell me, I'm imagining your business has changed quite a bit from in live studio classes because you held quite a number of them during the week. Tell me how does the pandemic affected you? How have you pivoted your business to be?
Yeah, that's it's a loaded question because, you know, never in a million years did I think I would be here leading fitness classes virtually. So that itself is the whole statement. Back last March, we would do 8-week sessions. I finished my session, and I heard about a virus, and that we were doing renovations to the studio in March break, and they said 2 weeks of kids home, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go do a few classes for free and just keep my members active. Never in a million years did I think it would go past March break. So I realized, beginning of April, that this was going to stay. And in order for me to continue doing what I love and help my community, I needed to pivot. So I pivoted all my classes online. And then I began to develop a community. I knew that, it wasn't just the classes. When people came to the studio, it was that connection, it was that camaraderie, it was just that feeling of they're part of the family. We got to talk, we got to chat, and it was became a social thing. So developing the community was a thing that had to go along with the first virtual classes. So slowly but surely, we added more classes every month, and it really snowballed into this support network that was needed during a pandemic because not only did my community need it, I needed it. I needed to feel connected to my people. And it was not just physical, but it was a lot of mental. And I'm happy to say that it's grown so much in the past year, which makes me believe that we all need it. We all need to feel that connection and more now than ever. So I am truly blessed because a lot of my members pivoted online with me and a lot have, you know, trickled here and there because online's not for everybody. But once you realize that it's more than just a class, it's about that feeling of support and motivation that you're going to get. I think you start to turn the corner and think, you know what? I need this.
Mhm.
So I've been truly blessed, and I love it. I love that I can reach more people and help them get active. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I- what you've created is utterly like it's superb. I give you kudos for that, and you feel like you're actually connected in real life to other people. So I really honor what you've done, and in such a short period of time, you've created this, as you said, like a tribe, a support place, and I totally agree with the connection. We all are looking for it, and sadly, I think online, as much as it's not for everybody, I don't think there's any other option right now.
yeah.
So,
That's the thing. It's just that I try to coach our community that don't look back. Don't think when things go back. Like take that out of your vocabulary and live in the present and the future. So adapting and pivoting and changing is only going to make you grow. So when things, if they do go back or they may look different, you're going to be better for it. You won't be stuck in the same position. You're going to be growing and moving, and you're going to be able to be adaptable. So I think it's a win-win.
totally, I love the message that you're getting out there. Yeah, we have no idea what's going to happen, if it will ever change into what capacity. So yeah, rather than getting left behind, yes, we need to shift and morph with the current situation. um, I know you have some pretty amazing advice for women. So generally the people in this group are midlife women. So do you have some like main suggestions, tips, advice, recommendations for women that are particularly in the mid range in terms of fitness goals or recommendations?
Yeah. I have a good range of ages because I believe that fitness and health um, is for all. Okay. So whether you find it later in life, whether you go back to it, it's a journey, it's never straight. So sometimes you veer off the path, but you always come back because you realize you need to honor your body. And one of the major tips that I give anyone that's starting out, whether they were an athlete, whether they're advanced, whether they're beginners, is you have to start. You have to have that moment in your life that you say, I'm going to start. So I give my members tools. There's calendars, there's daily habits tools, because the thing is that once you say to yourself, I'm going to start, you put a definite point in time. Okay. And then from there, you can be 1% better every day. Every day is not going to be amazing. Every day, you're not going to get up and say, okay, I'm great. I'm going to work out. I'm going to feel amazing. Every day doesn't go like that. So if you give yourself grace, if you give yourself accountability, if you give yourself the chance to say, you know what, I'm going to press start and it might not look great, then you're going somewhere. You're not just staying static. Um, I'm a believer of prepping and scheduling your workouts. Okay. So in my life, if things aren't scheduled, they don't get done because we all lead busy lives. But if you pencil yourself in, whether that's I'm going to go for a walk, whether that's I'm going to do yoga, whether that's I'm going to work out, take a bath, drink water, if you schedule yourself in, then you're giving time to yourself. It's about honoring your body and giving yourself self love. Because once you realize the benefits that you're going to get, you're unstoppable. You really are unstoppable. And the last piece of advice I tell every female that comes to me is believe in yourself. When you start to believe in yourself, you want to do things for yourself. If you do not put yourself first, you cannot be present in your other things. You cannot be a great mom. You cannot be a great wife. You cannot be a great mom. Sister, child, anything. You have to put yourself first and you have to give yourself grace. So, those are my tips.
That's fantastic. Yes, I love that. The belief, that's where our thoughts are stemmed from, right? Is
Mhm.
beliefs. Your belief systems form your thoughts, which form your actions and form your behavior. So
Yeah.
yes, comes from the belief. I love that.
Thank you.
Um, do you have any advice that we could share with this community on how to thrive during this time in this pandemic?
Yeah. So, this is the thing. I read this quote. I don't know, I can't really cite it perfectly, but it said something about, we're in the sea together, the ocean. We're all in different boats, but we all are in the ocean. So that means that we might be living different lives. Some of us might have young kids. Some of us have kids that are outside the house. Some of us might be taking care of our aging parents. But we're all living the pandemic. We're all living this lockdown. So in order for us to just be 1% better every day, is we have to give effort. Whether that's giving effort to being positive, whether it's giving effort to eating properly, whether that's just saying, you know what, today is going to be better than yesterday. I mean, we have to just understand that this is a point in time. You can't get everything done all in one day. You're not going to be an amazing athlete by starting a fitness program by starting today. Okay. So sometimes we want to see results right away. We say, okay, today I'm gonna be positive, but at the end of the day, it didn't go smoothly. So then we fall back and say, well, I was positive and things didn't go smoothly. It's that it takes habit, it takes consistency. So my number one thing is be consistent. If you say you're going to be positive at least for 21 days because we know it takes 21 days to form a habit. So if you want to be positive and that's one of your goals, then do something positive every single day. If you want to be active every single day. It doesn't have to be a 50-minute class. It can be bouts of 10 minutes a day and just moving that body. So consistency is the number one thing that's going to make you successful, and it's going to keep you into routine, because routine will keep you sane. I've said it multiple times because, I'm living the life of young kids, virtual learning, busy mom, entrepreneur, trying to be a good wife. And, if I don't keep some form of consistency and routine, I'm going to be unwound. And no one likes a mom that's unwound. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. And just find what is your goal. It does, like when we say goals, I think it gets overwhelming, and we believe that, oh my goodness, like it has to be this monstrous goal. Like I have to run a marathon. Goals can be very, very small. It could be, I just want to incorporate one vegetable a day for the whole week. That's great. Okay, that's a mini goal. Just set something that is tangible that you can achieve and keep with it. Yeah,
Small baby steps. Yes, totally.
yeah.
Totally. And I love what you're saying. Yeah, I'm a true believer in that as well, that routine creates freedom, actually, or structure creates
Hmm.
freedom that we all yearn for. Michelle, I would like to ask you the question about, your thought process and beliefs on um, using weights, particularly for women. Yeah, what's your take on adding weight
Wait.
to your into your routine, your fitness routine?
So, I mean, we in the fitness goes through many fads. Let's just put it that way. I mean, sometimes people say like, don't do weights, do light weights. There's just so much information going around. But what the research tells us is that when you lift weights or weight bearing activity, you are adding protection to your joints. So anyone that comes to me that's never lifted weights, I tell them right away, we need to start lifting weights. My mom is, 65 years old. And the number one thing I tell her to do every day is lift something. And it doesn't have to be 20 pounds, 30 pounds. It could be water jugs, it could be cans of beans, as long as it's a little heavier than, lifting nothing. It's going to protect your joints. You're going to basically create a barrier of connected tissue that's going to keep your joints strong and your bones healthier. Because we know that after 40, we start reabsorbing absorption of bones. Okay, so anything you've done before that is great, but when you go after 40, you got to maintain it. So it's not just okay just to walk. That's great for you, but anything that squats, lunges, sitting in a chair, getting up, holding your cans over your shoulders, weights will transform your body at any age. When you're younger, you may be able to be a little more aggressive in your weight training, progressive into heavier weights. But as you get older, the goal is to maintain what you have. So if you're walking every day, great. I would add at least 2 days of weight training activity and full body. It has nothing super aggressive, but like I said, anything in your household, laundry detergents, vinegar jugs, water jugs, anything that's going to give you a little more oomph in your exercises is going to protect your joints. So definitely weights is the number one thing I tell all females of all ages to do.
Fantastic. And I love that we're hearing it from you, the girl that knows.
Yes.
Michelle, do you want to tell us about any of your offerings or classes, like how you have it structured, what's going on, in case anybody is looking to develop a new fitness routine or change things up and have some accountability and some motivation? Because I do know your community is amazing for that, and there's a really supportive group of networks. So I'd love for you to share if that's
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
So right now we have a 21-day program for anyone new, because as I spoke a little bit before, is that I believe that it takes 21 days to create a habit. So we have a 21-day program that's going to help you learn the routine and create some lasting daily habits. So you're going to have access to all our classes. We have live classes Monday to Friday. So our live classes are streamed at 5 in the morning, between 5 and 6. If you cannot make it to live classes, you can catch all the classes on replay. So we have, members that are on different time, different shifts at work, some that just enjoy their sleep, and that's okay. You can do the classes at any time of day that work for you. And what's the key to our programming is, like you said, our community. So when you join our programming, you join our accountability group. This is a group full of amazing, like minded people that just want to better themselves. It's a support group. We share daily motivation, daily tips, recipes, and just daily things that we need help with. You know, I encourage all our members to ask questions in that group because sometimes I feel we get isolated, especially now during lockdown. It can feel isolating if you're living alone. So we have multiple opportunities for members to come on Zooms, to share accountability together, to ask questions, to create friendships. And it's the glue that holds our program together. So you can find all that information on our website, beactivelivebetter.com. And there's multiple programming options that work for every budget.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's great. I was going to ask you where people can find you, but you've already mentioned that. But is Instagram another good place for people to find you, or Facebook?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, Be Active Online Studio, as well as Instagram. So you can message on either of those platforms, or I could send you my email or even the website. If you have any questions, you can go through those platforms and we'll get back to you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Or feel free to reach out here if that's a little too complicated and I can link you up
Yeah.
with Michelle. But I do want to ask maybe a goofy little question just out of curiosity. Um, what do you think is your superpower?
um, I think any mom or female, I'm gonna just female, let's put it there. I think any female can tap into their superpower. Okay. Well, like I said, when you start believing in yourself, you have more to give. And when you have more to give, your talents shine because you're radiating positivity. So when you radiate positivity, people see you differently. It's like this aura of rainbow around you. I like to believe that I'm living in a rainbow.
Oh,
When things go wrong, I like to believe that I am spewing out rainbows and that any negativity that comes my way, I just shine it like a Care Bear. Okay. So I think that, you know, my superpower is not major, but it's being relatable. I feel that anyone that comes to me, any walk of life, any age, I can relate to them because I empathize with them. I like to listen. So I think that could be my superpower is that anyone that comes to me, I full heartedly like to be invested in their story. So I like to find out, what's their strengths, what they think their weaknesses is, and let them shine. So I like to build them up and put them on a pedestal so they realize what their strengths are and they can shine rainbows too.
that is so fantastic. Yes, you are definitely relatable for sure, but also a beacon of light. I think
Well, thank you.
it's interesting as women, and not just as women, I think when something comes easily to you, we tend to think it comes easy to everyone else because it's so easy for us. So we sometimes don't see our own gifts in our own light, but you are definitely shining very brightly. And I love that.
Thank
And
you.
that's who is following you, the same kind of vibrations. And that's what you kind of radiate out. So
Thank you. Well, that's what it's about. It's about radiating vibrations because I feel like we can really, if we all come together in positivity, like there's no room for negativity. There's just no room for it. So if you just take that out of your vocabulary and you practice your gratitude, there is no room for negative. There just isn't.
you're so sweet and so great. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate this connection and your time. And yeah, if you want to know more about Michelle, you can either look her up online, Be Active, Live Better, or reach out to me here and we'll hook you up.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you, Michelle. And I guess we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.